Xiaomi, the Apple of China built on value engineering. In August 2011, a 41-year-old Chinese entrepreneur named Lei Jun walked onto a dimly lit stage in Beijing wearing jeans and a black t-shirt, mimicking the iconic presentation style of Steve Jobs. But while Lei Jun borrowed Apple's theatrical flair, his company Xiaomi would take a radically different path to smartphone dominance. Instead of premium pricing and retail stores, Lei Jun bet everything on online sales, razor thin margins, and a revolutionary concept he called value engineering. Within just 4 years, Xiaomi would become the world's third largest smartphone maker, earning the nickname the Apple of China, while selling phones at half the price of an iPhone. This is the story of how Lei Jun built a $13 billion empire by proving that great technology doesn't have to come with a luxury price tag. Lei Jun's journey to smartphone royalty began long before he ever held an iPhone. Born in 1969 in Xiantao, a small city in China's Hubei province, Lei Jun was obsessed with computers from childhood. At Wuhan University, he devoured every programming book he could find, often studying until 4 in the morning. His roommates recall finding him asleep at his desk, surrounded by coding manuals and empty instant noodle containers. Lei Jun's first taste of entrepreneurship came in 1992 when he co-founded Kingsoft, a software company that would become one of China's leading office software providers. He spent 16 grueling years building Kingsoft into a publicly traded company, learning every aspect of technology business from product development to supply chain management. But Lei Jun's real education came from watching Steve Jobs transform Apple from near bankruptcy to the world's most valuable company. He studied Jobs obsessively, reading every interview and watching every keynote presentation multiple times. Lei Jun noticed something crucial about Apple's success. It wasn't just about great products, but about creating an emotional connection with customers. However, he also recognized that Apple's premium pricing strategy would never work in China, where the average consumer earned a fraction of what Americans made. This insight would become the foundation of the Xiaomi empire. When Lei Jun launched Xiaomi in April 2010, the smartphone market seemed impossible to crack. Apple dominated the premium segment with the iPhone, while Samsung controlled the mid-range market with its Galaxy series. Chinese consumers faced an impossible choice: spend 3 months' salary on an iPhone or settle for cheap phones with terrible performance. Lei Jun saw this gap as Xiaomi's golden opportunity. His strategy was deceptively simple but brutally difficult to execute. Build smartphones with flagship specifications and sell them at cost price, making money through services and accessories instead of hardware margins. Lei Jun recruited 7 co-founders, each a veteran of China's technology industry. Lin Bin came from Google China, bringing expertise in software development. Zhou Guangping joined from Motorola with deep hardware engineering experience. Together, this team committed to a radical mission: democratize premium technology by making flagship quality smartphones accessible to everyone. They called their approach value engineering, the art of delivering maximum performance at minimum cost through obsessive attention to supply chain efficiency and component selection. The first Xiaomi phone, the Mi 1, launched in August 2011 and immediately shocked the industry. Priced at just 1,999 yuan, roughly $300, it featured specifications that matched phones costing twice as much. The Mi 1 packed a dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, the same chip found in premium Android devices, along with 8 gigabytes of storage and an 8-megapixel camera. Lei Jun achieved this pricing miracle through several breakthrough innovations. First, Xiaomi eliminated traditional retail markups by selling exclusively online, cutting out distributor margins that typically added 30 to 40% to phone prices. Second, the company pre-sold phones based on online buzz and social media marketing, allowing them to order components in exact quantities and avoid inventory costs. Third, Xiaomi stripped away expensive features that didn't directly impact performance, like premium materials and extensive packaging, focusing every dollar on the processor, memory, and display. Most importantly, Lei Jun negotiated directly with component suppliers, leveraging his relationships from the Kingsoft days to secure volume pricing typically reserved for companies ordering millions of units. The Mi 1's launch created a sensation in China's technology community, with the first batch of 100,000 phones selling out in 3 minutes. Xiaomi's early success created a new problem: how to scale production while maintaining their cost advantage.
Traditional phone manufacturers like Nokia and Samsung relied on massive factories and long-term supplier contracts to achieve economies of scale. But as a startup, Xiaomi couldn't commit to the multi-million unit orders that suppliers demanded for their best pricing. Lei Jun solved this challenge by pioneering what he called hunger marketing, deliberately limiting supply to create scarcity and buzz around each phone launch. Every Tuesday at noon, Xiaomi would release a limited quantity of phones on their website, typically 50,000 to 100,000 units. These flash sales would sell out within minutes, creating massive social media attention and word-of-mouth marketing. The scarcity wasn't just a marketing gimmick. It allowed Xiaomi to precisely match supply with demand, never carrying excess inventory that would eat into their razor-thin margins. Meanwhile, Lei Jun invested heavily in MIUI, Xiaomi's custom Android operating system. MIUI featured a clean, iOS-inspired interface that Chinese users loved, along with unique features like themes, extensive customization options, and weekly updates based on user feedback. By 2013, MIUI had over 10 million active users, many running it on non-Xiaomi phones, creating a massive community of brand advocates who would eventually become customers. The smartphone wars intensified dramatically in 2013 and 2014, as established players like Samsung and Apple faced pressure from Chinese upstarts copying Xiaomi's online-first strategy. Lei Jun responded by doubling down on specifications and pricing, launching the Mi 3 with a flagship Snapdragon 800 processor for just 1,089 yuan, the same price as the original Mi 1, but with dramatically better performance. Xiaomi's engineering team had perfected the art of value optimization, spending months analyzing every component to find the perfect balance between cost and performance. They discovered that using slightly older but proven processors, typically 6 months behind the absolute cutting edge, could reduce costs by 40% while delivering 95% of the performance. Similarly, Xiaomi pioneered the use of online-only color variants and storage configurations, allowing them to test market demand before committing to large production runs. The company's supply chain efficiency became legendary in the industry. While competitors held 90 days of inventory on average, Xiaomi operated with just 30 days, freeing up massive amounts of cash that could be reinvested in research and development. By 2014, these innovations had propelled Xiaomi to become China's largest smartphone vendor and the world's third largest, shipping over 61 million phones and achieving a valuation of $45 billion.
Lei Jun's ambitions extended far beyond smartphones, as he recognized that Xiaomi's value engineering philosophy could revolutionize entire categories of consumer electronics. In 2013, the company launched Xiaomi Ecosystem, an ambitious program to partner with startups and manufacturers across dozens of product categories. Rather than building everything in-house like traditional conglomerates, Xiaomi would invest in promising companies and provide them with design guidance, supply chain access, and distribution through Xiaomi's online channels. The first major success came with the Mi Band, a fitness tracker developed in partnership with Xiaomi that launched in 2014 for just 79 yuan, roughly $12. The Mi Band offered features comparable to the Fitbit Flex, which cost 8 times more, including heart rate monitoring, sleep tracking, and smartphone notifications. Xiaomi applied the same value engineering principles to air purifiers, launching the Mi Air Purifier in 2014 for 899 yuan, compared to similar products from established brands that cost 3,000 yuan or more. The company expanded into smart home devices, electric scooters, luggage, and even rice cookers, each product designed to offer premium features at dramatically lower prices. By 2016, Xiaomi's ecosystem included over 70 product categories from dozens of partner companies, generating billions in revenue beyond smartphones. However, Xiaomi's rapid expansion and focus on low prices created unexpected vulnerabilities that nearly destroyed the company between 2015 and 2017. As Chinese smartphone users became more sophisticated, they began prioritizing build quality and design over pure specifications, areas where Xiaomi's cost-cutting approach showed its limitations. Premium competitors like Huawei and Oppo invested heavily in camera technology, premium materials, and offline retail presence, gradually stealing market share from Xiaomi's online-focused strategy. Lei Jun realized that Xiaomi had become too obsessed with cost reduction at the expense of user experience and brand building. The company's shipments fell from over 70 million units in 2015 to just 55 million in 2016, as consumers increasingly viewed Xiaomi as a budget brand rather than a premium alternative. Lei Jun responded by launching a comprehensive transformation program focused on three key areas: international expansion, offline retail, and premium product development. Xiaomi opened its first physical stores in 2016, featuring minimalist Apple-inspired designs with interactive product demonstrations and knowledgeable staff. The company also invested heavily in camera technology and industrial design, launching the Mi Mix series in late 2016 with nearly bezel-free displays that stunned the industry and won multiple design awards. The turnaround strategy proved spectacularly successful as Xiaomi returned to explosive growth in 2017 and 2018 while expanding far beyond China's borders. International expansion became a massive growth driver, with Xiaomi achieving the #1 market position in India by 2018 through careful adaptation of their value engineering model to local preferences and price points. The company's success in India proved that the Xiaomi model could work globally, not just in China's unique market conditions. Lei Jun expanded aggressively into Southeast Asia, Europe, and Latin America, achieving top 3 market positions in multiple countries within just 2 years of entry. Xiaomi's ecosystem strategy also reached maturity during this period, with the company's Internet of Things platform connecting over 132 million devices by 2018, making it one of the world's largest consumer IoT platforms. Revenue from the ecosystem business exceeded 15 billion yuan in 2018, proving that Lei Jun's vision of making money from services rather than hardware markups could work at massive scale. The company's return to growth culminated in a successful public offering on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange in July 2018, raising over $4 billion and valuing Xiaomi at over $50 billion. Lei Jun's transformation of Xiaomi from a smartphone startup to a global technology ecosystem represents one of the most remarkable success stories in modern business history. By 2020, Xiaomi had shipped over 1 billion smartphones globally, becoming the first Chinese brand to achieve this milestone and proving that innovation and accessibility could coexist. The company's success fundamentally changed how consumers think about technology pricing, forcing even Apple and Samsung to offer more affordable options in response to Xiaomi's pressure. Lei Jun's value engineering philosophy, delivering maximum performance at minimum costs through supply chain optimization and online distribution, became a playbook copied by dozens of technology companies worldwide. Perhaps most importantly, Xiaomi proved that emerging market companies could compete with Silicon Valley giants not through imitation, but through genuine innovation in business models and customer relationships. And today, as Xiaomi continues expanding into electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, and advanced manufacturing, Lei Jun's empire stands as proof that the most powerful business strategy isn't always selling expensive products to wealthy customers, but making great technology accessible to everyone. The boy from Xiantao, who once coded until 4 in the morning, had built something more valuable than just another technology company. He had created a new model for how innovation could serve the world's growing middle class, one affordable smartphone at a time.